Hey, welcome back. My name is Vince Oldry. I'm going to walk through my system here that helps me generate 2 million plus a month. Now, I'm not actually that active as much as Mike is in my office, so I'm a little bit more active on the marketing side now, and I've kind of stepped aside to really help grow advisors and their practice, to really try to get each advisor that we work with to do about 2 million or more a month. I think that's just a good number, just what I've been doing. So, we've been trying to help every advisor do about 2 million or more in new assets. And it's, something that we walk and talk. So we do it ourselves, our own financial planning practice. And it's something that we teach other people how to do. So we'll dive into the system here. And if you want a more in-depth demo, make sure to book some time with us. We'll meet with one of my team members. I'll walk you through the entire thing. This is going to be a quick demo to show you kind of a high-level view as far as how we generate all this business in a short amount of time, and make it really easy for us to do. Make it like we're in multiple different places instead of being so disconnected. I felt like our issue in the past was we were disconnected by, a mail house would do one thing for the seminars. There was no drip email marketing. So then you'd hire a drip marketing system. Then you had a content marketing system, and it was all disconnected. It wasn't coordinated together. Same thing with like the calendar reminders and the appointment reminders. It was just all over the place. So what I really wanted to do was like condense this, bring it all into one spot. So I had a place to build everything out. And one of the programs that I tried in the past before I jump in here was Salesforce. It was great, but oh man, was it clunky? It was hard to figure out. It was expensive. So then I tried like Wealthbox and all the others, but the problem was they didn't do all the things in one spot. So I tried Kartra, ClickFunnels, Keep or Infusionsoft, HubSpot, you name it. And what we actually kind of came to a conclusion on is we use a program that we built out as far as internally. We use a program called High Level, which is the base level program, and then we built everything in it. So if you want to go get High Level on your own, you can, but you'll probably get a little overwhelmed because you have to go build everything. It just comes as a blank slate. So what we've been able to do is create everything within the system, have a bunch of different connections, API connections, and also AI connections to actually build a really robust marketing system that does everything for me. Okay, so let's dive in. All right, so we're in our system right now. I'm going to go through our funnels quick to show you how we generate the leads first, and then I'll show you all the drip stuff afterwards, and also how we track everybody, all the details that we get from everybody. And what's really cool is once someone registers or attends our webinar or our seminar, we will actually be able to get a lot of data from them, not just name, email, phone number, but we can actually know how much assets that they have because we connected with another system to pull in all this extra data. And then we're going to actually be, very, very particular on the emails that we send them, because what we're going to do is we're going to use all that data that we've gathered, and we're going to send them specific emails based on their interests and what their hobbies are. So it gets really kind of cool on how detailed our marketing can get, rather than just doing seminars or just doing email marketing, and we have no idea what they really want. And the one thing that I learned is that if someone doesn't attend your seminar, maybe we should send them something to get them to come to a webinar. Now, if you're anything like me, I hate chasing, and I only want to meet with people that are interested in potentially working with me, and they have to have more than $500,000 in assets. So instead of me chasing around people, like if I want a lot of leads, I can create a system to generate a ton of leads. But the leads is just one thing. I don't like to chase. So the reason why we built this entire system the way it is because it generates good quality appointments, but they generate appointments that show to their actual appointment. Okay, and that's the big difference. Now, if I want to generate just a ton of appointments on my calendar, I can do that. But the likelihood of them showing is very low. That's why these other programs that are out there where they're just doing a quick webinar to book an appointment aren't working as well as they should, because they aren't waiting to ask for that appointment. They're not giving them enough free education. So I'll show you how we do this. In our system, we have all the landing pages already pre-built for you. What we start off with is, if we're doing the webinar side, we're just getting them to download a guide first, because we just want them to put their name and email in. So you can see if I put their name and email in, or if I put mine in, it'll actually check to make sure it's a valid email so we don't get a bunch of spam. And then once it goes to this next landing page, it says, hey, thanks, we just sent you the email with the guide, But now, do you want to come to this webinar that runs Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11:30 or 6:30 p.m.? Now, the reason why we do a scheduled webinar is because we discovered that when people go to a scheduled webinar, they actually carve out time in their calendar to watch it. If you do an automated webinar that just runs on auto, which means, or more like evergreen, where it's running constantly, where it's more like an on-demand webinar, you'll get people to watch it, but you won't get good committed appointments from that process because they're not always going to watch the entire thing. I've tried it. Doesn't work as well as I want it to, so I do it this way specifically. So once they get here, they can click and select a date and time that works for them. Now they have to put their name and email as well as their phone number. Okay, so now I'll get their phone number. And the reason why we do the phone number is because we're going to send them automated text messages, emails, to remind them to attend the webinar. So after they registered for the webinar, they can get some extra guides if they want, but now they're registered and they'll get a bunch of automations. Okay, so let's go look at our other process, which is how we get people to come to a seminar. If we're going to do a seminar, again, we'll do Facebook ads and we'll try to get them to come to a seminar. So let me go back here 1 second here and just give you an example. So I do more educational workshops rather than I do dinner seminars. So this is the way that we do it. What I discovered is that dinner seminars bring in lower quality prospects or lower assets. If we do educational workshops at a library or college, we get better quality. The difference is you're not going to get as many people there because you don't have a steak dinner to lure people in, okay? But doing it this way is actually a lot less expensive, okay? That's not it's not going to cost you as much because you don't have to pay for the free dinner, and you're not going to have a bunch of plate lickers there. So the only people that are there are the people that are actually interested in getting some help with retirement planning. Now, they may or may not use you, but they're still interested in getting help, okay? So we do a taxes and retirement class. They click here to sign up for the class. This is an in-person seminar. So you can see I have one coming up June 20th and 22nd. They can select which date they want to come to, how many people are coming with them. And when they click submit, I put 2 people in there, so I got to put my wife. All right, so we go into the next spot. It's going to bring them to another page where they're going to ask for their name, email, and then their address, okay? And then after they click that, I'm not going to go through it just because it's going to take some time. They're going to go to another landing page where it says, thank you, you've been confirmed. So that's our landing pages. Now, the fun part about this thing is landing pages are great, but we also try to direct traffic to these landing pages from other sources like emails. So we send a bunch of emails. We do retargeting ads on Facebook. We try to get them to go there. I have a podcast. We have our podcast direct people to the landing pages to try to get them to download the guide, to then try to go to the webinar, to then book an appointment. The key part here is I don't want people to book an appointment just from downloading an email or a guide, okay? I want them to go through a process to book the appointment. Then it's going to be a much more qualified appointment, and they're more likely to show up. It's not going to be an appointment where they're like, I just want to know about Social Security. What do you suggest? And they're not that committed to the process, right? They're not very committed to a retirement planning session. That's all that I want is a retirement planning session, where we're going to go through the entire assets, go through a whole plan with them, and then at the end, they can decide if they want to work with me. All right, so now let's go into all the automations. All right, so the first automation that I have here is the webinar automation, or if they download the guide. So if they download the guide, great. So they requested the lead magnet. They didn't register for the webinar. We're going to try to invite them to register for the webinar. So what you're going to see is our sequences are going to keep asking them, go to the web, did you want to come to the webinar? Don't miss out. Do you want to come to the webinar? But it's going to keep checking. Did they register? Yes, no. Did they register? Yes, no. Did they register? Yes, no. If they didn't register, they'll go into a different email workflow to then warm them up to then eventually get them to attend. Okay. So after they register, we're going to remind them. So again, we have a reminder sequence where we're going to do emails, text messages, ringless voicemail, where there's a voicemail that just pops up into the phone to remind them to come to the webinar. Then after that, our system's going to check, did they attend? Okay, if they attended, great. Thanks for attending. Then we're going to try to book that appointment. If they did not attend, we're then going to send them through another email sequence where we're going to keep asking them to attend the next one. Okay, so they're going to go through another email sequence where, hey, come to the next one, come to the next one, come to the next one. And if they still don't register after that, then we're going to send them to a different email sequence that I'll show you here in just a second. If they requested an appointment, we're going to leave them alone. And then if they booked an appointment, we're going to leave them alone as well. So there's a bit of a process if they requested an appointment versus booked an appointment. It all depends if we have your calendar connected to the system. Okay, so the nice part is my calendar is actually connected to the system, so it should be able to check whether or not they booked an appointment on your calendar. That way you're not having to chase and making sure the calendars line up. We do connect your calendar, so that way it's going to be much easier for you. Okay, so now let's go into the other funnel that we've created. We also have automations for your seminars. So when you do an in-person seminar at a local college, library, and technically you can do a dinner seminar if you want to, I just don't recommend it. We also do everything for you, or our system does everything for you to help remind people to show up to the seminars. So we do text messages, emails, ringless voicemail, we do phone calls. We actually have people that are on the phone that confirm that they attend your seminar. So it goes through a whole process, making sure that they're going to attend. What our system's going to do is going to check to make sure they did confirm, because sometimes they will text back saying, yep, I'm coming. And if it does that, then we'll lay off a little bit more than sending them so many emails or text messages. So this is a really cool system to use, so we don't have to keep chasing people, and it's going to get a better show rate to your seminars or your webinars. Okay, let's check into the next funnel. All right, the next funnel is our daily email workflow. Now, our daily email is technically an email that goes out every other day. And I know that sounds like a lot of emails, and technically what you're supposed to do is actually send out an email every day. But what our system does is send out an email every other day. It's going to be very casual type of an email. And all we're really trying to do is just get people to download a guide first. Okay, so we're just trying to give them free information, and then get them to download a guide. Then that leads them to the webinar, right? So if I look at the first email sequence here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my Facebook audience. We're also going to do some retargeting ads. We're going to put them in our pixel, our Facebook pixel, so that way Facebook knows, hey, these people are interested. They downloaded our guide. Let's make sure we stay in front of them. But what we're going to do is we're going to send them out an email every other day, okay? And they're going to keep getting different emails, but they're going to be relatable to retirement planning and relatable to their interests. And I'll show you how that works a little bit later here. But what's going to happen is we're going to send them emails, and then on the 15th day, we're going to ask them to go to our webinar. So we're not trying to ask them to go to our webinar right away. We're trying to ask them to go to our webinar on the 15th day because we really want to warm up to them and then ask for the permission to go to the webinar. And then once they watch the webinar, then we'll ask the permission for the appointment, okay? What I see as far as a problem for most advisors is they ask for the appointment directly in the email, or they're giving them email content that they're not actually interested in. The reason why we send emails like this is because they're interested in that topic, but you also have to send them a lot of emails to stay in front of them. So this is a lot of content. We send all the emails on your behalf. You don't have to do anything. We do it all for you. And then on the back end, we also have another second set of emails with a different guide, the retirement guide, and then another email flow with our Social Security guide, and then another one with our estate planning guide. And then we just revamp those emails, go back through the same guides to get them to re-engage. Now, I actually had tried other programs that just didn't really get me appointments, so I had built this out myself to help me get appointments. And the funny thing is I had an advisor, I had a prospect that came to my seminar back in 2018, did not become a client, and I put him in this email sequence. And a month and a half in, he finally registered for the webinar, booked an appointment, and became a client. And he had about $3 million. So there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that's out there within your own database you probably don't realize, or you're not going after those people that have come to your seminars. Now, I know a lot of you will have this database full of paper, but it's actually in a system where you can actually drip on them, or you're using other drip type of programs that aren't actually generating you any appointments, which should be the main goal, okay? So after I've shown you this, let's go dive into what everything looks like as far as when a lead comes in. We can go look at a lead, okay? All right, cool. So now we're in our workflow as far as our opportunities, and you can see all the people that are downloading the guides. You can see all the people that have registered for the webinar. You can see all the people that have confirmed via text did not attend a webinar, attended the webinar that we're chasing down as far as maybe they attended the webinar but did not book an appointment. Those are hot leads right there. Those people are worth reaching out to. And then you got the people that my staff members reaching out to. But so now we're in Greg Clark's account here, and I can see all the data as far as Greg Clark and where he came from and what landing pages he visited and what ad he saw. I can see all the data as well as all the communications that went out to Greg here. So I can see that he visited the page on June 12th. He got the ebook and registered for the webinar, and he actually attended the webinar. Okay, so when I look at all the communications, you can see even here, he's like, hey, send me the link. So we said, hey, thanks, we just sent an email. Now this is all automated. We send him the link, and you don't have to do any of this. The whole system does this for you. We don't have to follow up with people that way. We're more efficient here. So it's going to do all this for you. And then what's really cool, or at least I think is cool, is I have a lot of information on him here. Now, you probably don't care about a lot of this stuff, but I do find out like what his financial interests are. There's a lead score that we give him based on, we have a program that we connect with that will tell us like how likely he is to hire someone for financial planning help. I know his interests and hobbies. I know what kind of spending behavior he has. I know his sports that he's interested in. I know the age band that he's in. I know how much assets he has. He has between $1 million to $3.5 million. Okay, so there's a lot of information here that you now have that if you said, hey, this person only has $100,000, well, it may or may not be right, but you might not want to spend a lot of time trying to, if Greg Clark here attended my webinar, didn't book an appointment after the webinar, and you only had, under $100,000, then it might not be worth chasing down, right? Now, the good news, because we're doing the tax efficient strategies, we pull in a lot of people with $500,000 or more in assets, okay? It's the asset size is never really a problem, but it's always nice to have all this data and be able to know what their interests are, know what their hobbies are, and then know if they're worth actually kind of chasing down if they have the money to chase down versus maybe spinning your wheels and find out they don't have anything. So a lot of great data here, a lot of information in here for you that you can utilize. All right, so now I'm in the marketing part of or the content side of things, and what we do is we actually send out a blog once a week for you. This blog post is going to be, you can see it in our system, so you can go take a look at all the different blogs that are out there. You can look at all the content that's going to go onto your Facebook, your Instagram, LinkedIn, basically all the social media channels. So you'll know what's going to go out there. And you can see like your scheduled posts as well. I'm not in the right account right now because I'm in the MasterMind account. I'm not in the CFG account. But basically this whole system, we do all the stuff for you on the content side, and you can send it to your compliance officers if you need to beforehand without publishing anything. So really, really nice to have. It's really one of those benefits. And then the other part is the email part. When it comes to your email, we'll also know like how your emails are performing. Okay, so how are people getting the emails? Are they opening their emails? What's the spam complaint? Now, we send out a lot of emails, 105,000 emails a month, which is a lot of emails, and we are only at a 0.01% spam rate. So we're doing really good as far as emails being delivered and not going to spam, as well as not getting complaints. Now, you'd think with sending out emails every other day, there might be an issue, and there's not. Okay, and the reason why is our emails are built very specifically to not piss people off, not get people upset. So anyway, there's a lot here, and I did this in a rather, I don't even know how much time, a very short period of time. I'm trying to look at my timer here, but I'm sure there's gonna be some editing that goes on. But what I would suggest to you is schedule some time with me, or someone on my team, schedule some time below, or somewhere on the screen. I don't know where it's gonna be, but somewhere there's gonna be a way for you to schedule some time to get a full-on demo with our staff, and that way you can see if it's the right system for you to help you generate $2 million a month or more, or if it's not, okay? And that's okay. I'll be the first to tell you if you're not a good fit. My team members will be willing to tell you, because we do have to, work together as a team here, not work together. I'm looking for that silver bullet, okay? This isn't a silver bullet, okay? This isn't going to get people to sign on the dotted line, just for you, right? I don't think there's anything out there, and if it was that case, then we would commoditize things, and you wouldn't be making as much money as you should be. But if we bring you good qualified prospects for you to meet with, and you go through a good planning process, then you should be able to close a lot of business. Okay, you're not going to close everybody, but you should be able to close a lot of business. And if you need help with that, I'm going to show you one more thing before you go. All right, so here's my training portal. I built out this training portal for you guys to close more business. All right, and this is a little bonus thing for you guys that I built because I found out that, hey, if I, bring you somebody, you should be able to close them. Well, that's not always the case. Okay, so I had to figure out, well, maybe I need to train you guys too on how to close business and what to do in a meeting. So I built out my training portal as far as exactly what I do, everything you need, my entire meeting process. So I show you what you need, what my first meeting looks like, my second meeting, preparing for the second meeting, doing the paperwork, what that looks like, and the system that got me here, which is our marketing machine. You don't have to go through that. But there's other courses too, like how to present for your webinar if you want to do the webinar. If you don't want to do the webinar, we have a white label version for you to do. It's completely turnkey. Okay, that's the idea. It's completely turnkey. You just got to jump in and start meeting with people and start writing some business. All right, so if you want to find out more about it and get a full-on demo, what I suggest you do is book that time with me or my staff, and we'll go through this with you more and figure out if it makes sense for you and your practice. All right, look forward to seeing you there.